Since we're talking the mind today, I thought we should get comfy, and there's this really nice spot in our office, and yeah, I think it will do. Let me just find some good light and then we can start to talk. Hi family, welcome back to my YouTube channel, the best place for students to find personal development content. My name is Wupe, if you're here for the first time, popularly now known as the Mindpreneur. And today we start with the mind. So what is the mind is always confused with the brain as an organ, right? So we have in our heads the brain, and some have argued that no, the mind is the heart. So there are many schools of thought. So according to Oxford, I made some notes. According to the Oxford definition of what the mind is the element of a person that enables them to be aware of the world, their experiences, to think, feel, and the faculty of consciousness and thought. It is your intellect, right? If intellect is our mind, it's basically where information for our survival is stored, okay? So if intellect is equal to the mind is what determines how we wire ourselves for survival. And how we wire ourselves for survival depends on the information, the data that is downloaded or rather uploaded into the mind, right? Now this information is accessed consciously, unconsciously during our lives. We have traumas, but there's certain experiences that we pursue, like what we're focused on here, students. That happened to us when in college or university. A lot of things happen consciously and unconsciously. So our intellect, basically based on the information that we have uploaded into our intellect, consciously or unconsciously, forms our identity. And our attitudes are then shaped by this identity that we create, and whether we survive or thrive or die therefore traces back to our identity and the information that we have uploaded into our minds. So our identity therefore is a byproduct of our intellect, and our intellect is shaped by various factors like our religion, gender, etc. Now remember that our brains rather, are an organ that is not wired for thriving. It is wired for our survival. It is an old organ. So when something feels uncomfortable, we are more likely to push against that than to find a way around it. So when you feel fire, you are more inclined to move away from it rather than automatically think about it as something that can keep you warm. You automatically think that it will burn you unless you have wired your mind to say, oh, you know what, I need fire to keep me warm. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how the mind is wired. It's wired for survival, not for thriving, okay? So when you start to create something like a morning routine, automatically your body pushes against it because it would rather rest, okay? There's certain things that we need to do that opposes the structure of our brain. And even the Bible points us to some of these things. And we will go to some Bible verses like Romans 12 verse 2, which talks about being transformed by the renewing of our minds, right? So the Bible is also pointing us to the requirement to change the natural setup of our mind, to be transformed. And then we have Isaiah 26 verse 3, the one that talks about you keep him in perfect peace, he whose mind is stayed on you. So you can lose your peace if you don't focus on the word of God, right? So again, it calls for us to focus our minds on God to acquire that peace. And the other one is Joshua 1 verse 8, which talks about meditate on this word, bind them may it be on your lips, meditate on it day and night. Why? Because the human brain also forgets. So you need to keep speaking the word of God and keep thinking the word of God, being focused on the word of God, because meditation is intentional focus on a particular idea or thing. And that's why it is important, and the Bible calls us to that. And Philippians 4:8, which calls us also to conscious thinking. So what are some of the ways that we can keep ourselves healthy, mentally healthy, while we already practice these things that we have already talked about being a conscious thinker. One, move your body. You see, that's why we have hands, that's why we have legs. This already points to the fact that our bodies were not created to be stationary, they were created to move. So just a little movement around, just walking around, it already helps the mind to think. When you're depressed or feeling depressed, you notice that your body is usually in a state of immobility, and that's why they encourage you to move around. It's good for your mind, for your creativity, and all that good stuff for your healing. A second thing that is good for you is listen to music, because music is already formed ideas, and when you listen to them, they help reshape your negative thoughts, right? But most importantly, what I advocate for on this platform is for you to create a state of mind where good thoughts can flow from. When you only depend on your mind to produce good thoughts, for you to do affirmations, positive thinking, and you're only thinking about your thoughts, it's not very helpful, because positive thoughts flow from a state of being at peace, feeling loved, feeling joyful. So the idea is to focus on those things. How can I be more joyful? How can I be more peaceful? How can I embrace the love that is already around me? And when you are in that space, positive thoughts are easier to do, affirmations are easier to do, and you stay in that state of positivity. So we've talked about listening to uplifting music, fun music. We have also talked about moving your body around, but also eat right. Like, make sure you incorporate veggies and fruits and lots of water into your diet, because you want your system to be clean. They literally say if your colon is messed up, it goes to the head. So we have to be deliberate about the food that we eat, because when our bodies are full of toxins, we feel fatigued. When we feel fatigued, automatically our minds are not healthy and we don't feel happy. So if you want to feel happy, if you want to feel healthy as a student and have more energy to focus on your education, you want to move around, you want to eat healthy, you want to listen to something uplifting, preferably music, which will force you again to move around. So you drink lots of water and stay happy and keep good company. Keep company that uplifts you, but also uplifting company is not people who only tell you nice things. Uplifting company is people who can also be honest with you. Maybe you're slacking in one way, someone who can say, look, hey, you're slowing down there, sis. You need to come back this way. So you need people who you can be accountable to and who can be accountable to you. People who move you in the direction of growth. Yeah, and again, pray. That's a good way to keep your mind healthy. And like we have been told in all these conscious thinking Bible passages, like Romans 12:2, Isaiah 26:3, Joshua 1:8, and Philippians 4:8, you need to meditate on the Word of God. What does the Word of God say about you? And a combination of these things and a lot of other things will keep you in a good and healthy mental state. And you don't have to start in big chunks. You can start with little things, like taking a walk around your yard and then increasing the distance every day, maybe by 5 or 10%. But the idea is to be consistent. If you only drink a glass of water, tomorrow intentionally drink a glass and a half. The other day drink 2 glasses until you get to the required 8. Eat fruit. So weight of fruits, we find a nachi at even like 2 kwacha 15 way for one. If you intentionally count the amount of money you spend on talk time and how much you spend on food, you'll find that you don't care for your nutrition, but you care for the amount of bundles that you buy to talk to people and just mindlessly scroll on social media. So be deliberate. Buy some fruit. Instead of buying 5 kwacha talk time tomorrow, buy fruit instead and take care of your body, which will then ultimately take care of your mind. Okay, and then another thing that is so important in taking care of your mind, that's scrolling mindlessly on social media. There's so much negative information that comes through the media, so you have to be very aware of the information that you are digesting, the pages that you follow content like this that is positive, uplifting, and helping you grow. Sure, you can follow entertainment as well, but please find some balance, because your mind, like we say on this platform, is the engine, it's the headquarters. If it's messed up, you can't do well in your education. It's difficult to balance. And even if you do well in your education and then you're failing in relationships and then you're failing in your health, what good is success if you can't enjoy it? So please, please, please take care of your mind and listen back on this video on some of the tips I have already offered on how you can take care of your mind. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been Wube. I hope this video has been helpful. I now have to love and leave you. And if you're not yet subscribed, remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. The next video we'll be talking about will be how to take care of your body. And you see how closely related they are, because obviously the mind is hosted by the body, in a sense. Okay, I have to go now. Thanks for joining me. Bye.